welcome to the Beastcast, episode 6. I'm here with, as always, I'm here with Raven Bones, my lovely co-host.
Yo.
And this week we have our first guest since the last person, which was a British person, we don't speak of his name. IneedNaps, except he's not British.
Yeah, I'm 100% American. I need naps here.
100% American.
And ginger.
And ginger. No, we got a lot of gingers here, but Raven is not a ginger. So technically, Raven, you are in the minority.
Just means I'm superior.
Oh, you got him. All right. So, we're here. Whoa.
Go ahead.
No,
I was just thinking of something messed up.
So I didn't know what the title is because we were doing this really quickly because a lot of things have happened today. But this is episode 6. Our plans have pretty much stayed the same. We're going to talk gaming. So I just called it the state of gaming with IneedNaps, but it's probably just going to be a more so nothing. We're just going to ramble for an hour and a half and probably call it good. This might be a shorter episode. We're filming this at 11:15 our time, 10:15 his time. Raven's got work in the morning, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And I need my Sunday. So we are just so if this is a shorter episode, you know why. It's later. We're getting ready to be done. So Naps, is there anything you have brought into us that, or at least anything you want to talk about that has intrigued you?
Oh, if you guys have ever played an old game named Paragon, it was an old MOBA. It was kind of like Smite, except it actually had elevation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about some of the remakes and the differences between them.
Go for it.
Go for it.
So, have you guys ever played any of the remakes like Predecessor, Overprime, Fault?
I've watched you play some of them.
No, I haven't. I've only played the old beta for Paragon.
I played
the
Paragon.
old Paragon was the best, but
I agree.
So the one that I'm most interested in is Predecessor, because they actually got all the coding rights from Epic themselves, so that they stayed closest to the original.
Okay, so Naps, for you, since you're big on Paragon, then why did it get shut down in the first place? Might I ask? Is it just because the entire Epic team just went to Fortnite? Yeah, I was gonna say,
100% Fortnite. Like literally, they shut down the servers to Paragon because they noticed the BR whole thing was getting really big, and they wanted to transfer some of the servers they had into Fortnite because they didn't have as much money back then.
And see, just before you got home, I joined a call with Raven for like 20 minutes, not even. And me and Raven, well, I don't know if Raven is here, but I was talking about how I absolutely hated how Fortnite changed the gaming industry. And I think this actually goes great into titling it the state of gaming. Mainly, Fortnite kind of ruined a lot of shit. Like, when Fortnite first came out, when Epic first dropped it, when it was just the PvE, I actually really enjoyed the game. And even the early Battle Royale. But then they started getting this crazy, like, going way over the top, starting to add fucking, like, Fortnite doesn't even have its own identity anymore. Like, it's just a collage of, like, every other game. It also forced this, like, weird, like, Battle Royale, cartoony meta, which is really fucking goofy for me. Which I don't know if I can get behind.
So I don't know about the whole cartoony Battle Royale BS, but it feels like all the games lately, have been getting more generic, less changes between them. That's just how it feels.
Yeah, and me and Raven kind of discussed this last week too when we were talking about Hollywood versus video games. Is Hollywood and the video game industry, in the movie industry, they both followed a very sad pattern of everything slowly has just become generic garbage that just makes a lot of money.
Well, I think that was more attuned to, since animation is starting to get more realistic lately, they can kind of get away with all the extra bullshit, I guess is the best way to put it, you know?
Well, I know I'm the laughing stock here, but as a COD player, or as an old COD player, I really, really hate Fortnite because for me, my biggest reason for playing COD was the Call of Duty Zombies mode. And the problem that occurred when the fucking when Fortnite came out is Fortnite came out and made battle royales like super 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 popular. Like they existed, but it made it super popular and made it mainstream. So then basically the entire dev team for Black Ops 4 was just completely forced to work on Blackout rather than work on the game. And that's why if you play the game, or if you've ever seen gameplay of the game when it first launched, everything looks very, very unfinished, and the zombies is completely fucked. Like it's completely unfinished as well. And even until the last map came out for the Call of Duty Zombies DLC cycle, this is just rumored because this is never confirmed because Activision never used to release their numbers for anything. But there was only 3 Treyarch employees working on the zombies in Black Ops 4 by the time it was done because they had over I think 90, I think it was like 89 or 91, some weird odd high number of their staff, of their design staff working on fucking the Blackout Battle Royale bullshit. And what's funny is it wasn't even what they wanted. They wanted to make funny enough, they wanted to make a Battle Royale called Warzone, right? And funny enough, guess what came out the year after? Warzone. But David Vonderhaar, you know, the guy, Black Ops 2 guy, haha, funny bald guy, he wanted to make this thing called Warzone, and it was this big battle royale, and Activision told him, no, this is exactly how you have to make it, this is going to work. So they made it exactly how they were told to make it, and everybody hated it. Then David Vonderhaar leaves, and then they just make Warzone, which was how David Vonderhaar had seen it, and all of a sudden, boom, it was a big success. It's almost as if the big corporation doesn't know how to deal with video games and their customers.
Well, it's kind of funny you say how Fortnite actually brought it into sight. I would say more PUBG was the OG.
Well, no, PUBG brought it into the mainstream for gaming. Fortnite brought it into the mainstream of media. When everybody's grandma knew about Fortnite was, I would say, when battle royales became too popular.
I don't think there's a real issue of being too popular though.
Well,
like
the problem is the genre hadn't been milked yet, right? Because PUBG was still fairly new when Fortnite dropped. It was only like a year and a half old, I believe, right? Or how old is PUBG? I don't fucking remember.
So, actually, speaking of this, do you remember back in the days when a new toy came out and it was literally just oil or some bearings, and then you just hold it in the center and you spin it? Fidget
spinners, yeah.
Oh, fidget spinners.
It's the same exact thing. It was something new, and then they just milked the shit out of it until they couldn't get anything more out of it. That's what I feel like is starting to happen with the VRs.
Oh my god. I remember that when fidget spinners came out, it was my last year of or was it my first? It was my 8th grade year. So at my school we did it differently where 8th graders went to the high school. So it was my first, not my first real year of high school, but I was at the high school. And I remember everybody in their goddamn fucking mothers had a goddamn fidget spinner. And the teachers would get so mad, dude. They started taking them fuckers away. And the one kid, I remember this kid, like, he was spinning it and he fucking threw it at the teacher, and he got like, I don't remember if he got an ISS or in-school suspension, but he got, yeah, he got fucked. I know he got like 10 hours of detention that he had to serve. It caused chaos. There was statements coming out. It was like that devious lick bullshit, dude. That was stupid.
Yeah.
The devious lick bullshit, that was stupid too. That was my senior year of high school.
But yeah, so
I don't know if popularity would necessarily be it, but it was definitely like there. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Anyways, we just got a little off topic, but
I understand the point you're trying to make, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like popularity isn't a bad thing if they could actually do something with it instead of doing this generic, just trying to keep people happy bullshit instead of trying to take chances.
Well, I would say, like, look at like something like Stranger Things. I mean, it's become very mainstream, but they still somehow managed to make a good story out of most of it, even if some of them were bad. Some episodes.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is flawless.
Yeah, I would say that's just evident proof that you can be different and still be popular and still be able to tell a good story.
Well, it's just like with any type of industry, people are too afraid to take risks. They would rather use something that they know that works. Hence, what's the biggest issue with gaming is they're
And
doing the exact same thing.
now we can bring this into something that Raven's more topic or like knowledgeable on. Raven, do you know how long it was between the last God of War, like full God of War game, to God of War 2018? Was it 5 years or 6 years? Was it
I
longer?
believe the last one was 2010
So it would have been 8 years. That's just
or
proof.
12.
If it was 2010 or even 2012, that's just proof that companies were too afraid to take risks, especially during the early the end of the PlayStation 3, early PS4, Xbox One stuff, because literally like everybody was so afraid to make a solo game during that time, because that was when multiplayer, internet was starting to become good enough that multiplayer was like flawless for a while. And there's a reason why now all of a sudden we're getting this massive boom of these big solo games, like single player games, because people are so goddamn tired of playing a multiplayer game for, every day, all day.
Well, I feel like what also attributes to that is with all the upgrades to the whole gaming technology is what we're getting.
Oh, definitely.
Is why people are doing the remakes. They're
When-
trying to relive the old days, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
when Unreal Engine 4 came out, Unreal Engine 4 was the first engine. I don't know, maybe there was an engine before this, like a pre-built or a built engine for a studio, but Unreal Engine 4 was the first engine to do that open world thing where the only thing that would be rendered and loaded in is what you're looking at. And it actually made open world games like super possible, and like and to make them like big and like detailed and stuff like that. And I don't know what game would have been the first big one. Maybe The Witcher 3 is Witcher, no, Skyrim possibly would have been
I was
Unreal
gonna say
Engine 4.
Skyrim was before Unreal Engine 4, I thought.
Oh, if it was, then Skyrim probably had its own little thing. But
Skyrim has its own Bethesda engine.
Yeah, which probably had the same thing, but the first one that was released to the public, funny enough, Epic Games, was Unreal Engine 4. And when that was released to everybody, those open world games started to get super fucking popular. Like super popular. Because in Unreal Engine 5 can even do it even more flawlessly. Unreal Engine 5 is fucking crazy. Unreal Engine 5 doesn't focus more on power though. Unreal Engine 5 focuses more on graphics, which I don't know if I agree with necessarily, but it still has a lot of cool things about it.
It just depends on what type of game. If you're trying to make one where performance is necessary, I'd say Unreal Engine 4. But if you want the graphics, like think of the story rich, the beautiful scene crap, that's all Unreal Engine 5. I feel like would be.
And it's not even necessarily just detail. Unreal Engine 5, its biggest selling point is the stupid lighting bullshit. The ultra volumetric lighting. Kenna in the Bridge of Spirits is this PS5 or PS4 PS5 game, and the PS5 version is completely built through the Unreal, or I assume all of them, Unreal Engine 5, right? And the lighting in some places is just it's unrealistic, like it's unbelievable, not unrealistic.
It's beautiful. I love that game.
It's fucking beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's like too much. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like passing out from because for Horizon Forbidden West I believe Guerrilla used a mix of Unreal Engine 5 and their own engine that Sony helped them create for that game. And that the lighting compared to even the PC remake of Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS5 makes the PC version on the max scale with HDR look like a fucking kids game. Like it looks like it was made by kids compared to what they did on Forbidden West. That lighting is so crazy.
Dude, also, Kenna Bridge of Spirits was awesome.
Oh, dude. And also I think Horizon Forbidden West has full day and night cycles. I don't know if they ever added that to I think they added that to Zero Dawn eventually, but Forbidden West has this day and night cycle, and it's set the same amount of time, but as the story progresses, it slowly, because you would assume that time is passing, the days start getting shorter because you're getting closer to the fall time of the year. So you'll start, I think at the beginning of the game, the days start at like, I don't remember what it is in the world, probably like 20 minutes of light, 10 minutes of dark, like Minecraft shit. And then slowly it gets more darkness and light. And also, you can use that with the, you can use that as a symbol of the darkness that's rising and coming, closer to whatever, without trying to spoil the game. But yeah, I just think the new engines are fucking crazy. They're so. I'm
Dude,
Go ahead.
God of War, the 2018 one, is so visually beautiful.
For 2018 too. Oh my
yeah.
god.
I mean, even now I still love it. Like I
Do you
got
know
it
what
on
game?
PC.
Do you know what game really stunned me when I first saw it, like visual wise? That I don't care what
What?
anybody says. Detroit Become Human has some of the best visuals I've ever seen in a video game, even
That
to
is
this
such
day.
a good story, though.
No,
Too.
no,
The
like
story is shit.
I
I
like
love the story.
I love a lot of things about Detroit to Become Human, but the one thing I love is the you can when a developer did a good job at making good graphics and a good like detail, when you can just feel the energy of the city by just looking at it. Like you can just feel the place you're in. Like I can think of maybe 10 times in my entire life where I played a video game where I can just feel like I'm in the world because it's just so perfect, like breathtaking, and that's one of them.
So let me backtrack a little bit though. I don't like the actual story so much. It's more the idea of the story behind Detroit Become Human. It's like with how technology is evolving and everything. It's just
That
thinking that we could be there someday is just
See, what's
ridiculous.
funny is it seems fucking crazy, but then again, it's the same thing with Advanced Warfare. It seems so fucking stupid, but then you start seeing shit like that actually happening, and you're like, what the fuck? I don't know if it
It
would
doesn't
ever
even
get
seem
that
stupid.
far. I mean, no, I mean, yeah, definitely, but I don't know if we would ever get like, I feel
I don't know, dude. With how technology has been progressing especially lately.
I could definitely see somebody making within the next probably I don't know about 20 years, but in the next like 60 years, I could see somebody making a company about complete like human AI robots that are just perfect clones of humans. Although I think people are going to have a lot of problems with that, especially in the labor department of the
Well,
country.
especially since you've seen movies like I, Robot and stuff like that. AI, do you know how many people would freak the fuck out because of the AI,
dude
dude?
the Matrix got the Matrix I think has it the best where the robots got so sentient that everybody started fucking hating them and they started beating the shit out of the robots and they were forced to go into their own little thing and then they started a war against the humans and that's how you get the Matrix.
So I feel like VIs are a lot more plausible, which we actually kind of do have them, but we don't have one where you can just talk to it and have a full blown conversation back.
One thing I have to commend Detroit to Become Human on is the world building that you do because the thing about the world is in that game is you can play like first off you can play like 1,000 different ways, but if you just like pay attention to the small things that are happening in the backgrounds and stuff like that, like just the amount of information, amount of things that is coming out, like there's a scene where I mean you can totally skip the room, but if you go into this small room, I don't remember if it's on Kara's story or whatever, where you can like turn on the TV and you can just see that the unemployment rate has gone up to like 36% and all these people are protesting the robots and stuff like that. And you see all these things that like you could totally just ignore. Because that's the thing about those type of games is you can play it or you're just locked in dead center, gonna go straight from point A to point B, or you can explore the world.
Well, it's like in some movies too. I've seen YouTube videos where people are like, I haven't watched this movie for like 10, 15 years and they see something new. Like they'll watch it at 0.25 times speed and they will notice a lot of different little things that they never really noticed before. That's what I feel like you're kind of talking about. It's all the little
You
details
mean
that they
like
put
every Christopher
into it.
Nolan film?
Dude, his fucking movies are so over the top. I'm so hyped for the new Oppenheimer film, but then when I saw it was directed by Christopher Nolan, I was like, dude, he's gonna somehow make this so more complex than it needs to be. Okay, we know J. Robert Oppenheimer. We know he was the master of the atom. Just fucking show him make this bomb. Show him have sex with somebody else's wife in his own bed, and then show Japan getting fucking nuked and be done with it. Problem solved. There you go. There's your movie. There's a quote. It's funny. No, it's super funny.
Thanks,
It's
Tim. We have anime.
dude.
Well, it kind of reminds me of stuff like Storage Wars, how it's such stupid shit, but they will make such big
It
deals
was
out
Storage
of it, dude.
Wars like Pawn Stars, where it was completely scripted, right?
I don't know if it was completely scripted.
Well,
It
I
could
thought the thing was they already purchased those, like they purchased the lots like way long ago, and they're just playing it up for TV. Because like on Pawn Stars, all the negotiations and shit you see, like 9 times out of 10, they're completely fake. Because what they do is they'll buy the item first beforehand, and then they'll play it up for TV. They don't just let anybody just walk in with a fucking 6,000-year-old katana or whatever. But no, it's not. That wouldn't even be plausible. But you get what I'm saying. Like that shit
Yeah,
just
I
doesn't.
get the
That shit
idea.
just doesn't happen. Even if you are in Vegas and one of the most popular pawn shops. Also, dude. The people that were on that show, other than Rick, man, they all are like in shit controversies. Fucking Chum Lee, Big Hoss, dude. Everybody thought, wasn't it 4chan or was it Reddit that was just convinced Big Hoss had died, like he was just dead, or he was in prison or some shit.
Was it he died of a heart attack or something
Somebody's
like that?
there was, I don't know what corner of the I don't know what corner of the internet it was, but there was just one corner of the internet that was convinced that he was just dead, like he was deadsies. So, but Chum Lee, I know he got. Didn't he have like? What did he have? I know he had some fucking Chum Lee controversy.
I don't know, dude. There's so many controversies to keep up with.
Oh, he was unlawful possession of a firearm and a gross misdemeanor, attempted drug possession, called for 3 years of probation and counseling.
Back to the God, what was it? The
Paragon.
20s when
Oh, never mind.
prohibition was going on, or something like that.
Yeah, funny enough, it's actually the 21st Amendment that gets rid of the prohibition. 21. Boom. That's how you remember it.
Huh.
Okay,
That's
back
kinda
to
funny.
games. Okay,
Yeah,
we
back
have to
to games.
talk about what.
Well, let's
Go back to Paragon. Go back to
I was
your
gonna say,
Paragons.
we'll go back to that in a second. If we're bitching about games like we were earlier, let's bitch about Overwatch, dude.
Oh, man.
Overwatch, how shit it came out. Like the mechanics, some of it was actually felt pretty nice. Because I do like the whole one tank thing, and it makes it so that the damages have to play more precise, I guess is the best way to put it. But just all the crashes, all the bugs, it's just like, dude, you guys transferred pretty much the whole code over. You just added a little bit bonus, and you fucked it up this bad.
Well, Overwatch 2 isn't even technically fully released, right? Like, the PvE is not even out yet, right?
It is fully released. Like when they said they were shutting down the servers for Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, that was supposed to be the official release.
What? So why is the PvE not out yet? And what? Is Overwatch 2 going to be completely free, even the PvE? Are they going to do like
free, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah,
Fortnite did it different. They did the PvE that PvE you had to pay for, and PvP that you had to.
Well, the PvE was worth paying for, and the PvP was definitely not worth paying for. If they charged you for Battle Royale, I would have been pissed off. I would have never played it. It would have never been popular either.
Well, they charged for PUBG.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying Fortnite itself, because Fortnite's biggest thing was that it was free. That you had
and that's what made it blow up so much compared to PUBG, yeah.
That's why PUBG kind of got overshadowed.
Which, I think charging for the game has its ups and downs, and then there's the whole loot boxes and crap like that. But back to Overwatch.
The only time I would say charging for a game doesn't matter is if it's Nintendo, because Nintendo does not give any money to anything. Nintendo Switch Online was worse than it was when it was free. So
Nintendo doesn't even let cross-platform their games. Like they don't let it go on PC or anything like that.
Well, they allow cross-platform. They just don't allow to release them on other platforms. you whining?
Really? Because I've seen a lot of
Nintendo
Nintendo
Paladins
games
is
that I want to
Paladins is
play.
completely cross-platform.
Paladins isn't Nintendo. That's
Yeah, but
Hi-Res.
no, I know, but the Nintendo Switch players can play with the PC players.
No.
He's talking
So
about
this is what I'm talking
exclusive
about.
Nintendo first-party game.
Yeah, I know, but like, yeah.
Yeah, games like fucking Breath of
Platoon.
the Wild, Super
Well,
Smash
that's
Brothers,
just
shit like
Nintendo.
that.
They're. I'm pretty sure half of Nintendo's higher ups like don't even know the internet exists yet. I mean, you got to give them time, man.
Oh, they know it exists.
They have to know because they have to keep up with this shit to make it so a lot of people will want to buy their stuff. That's a big thing with companies
Yeah,
is they need to keep updated or
but
else
you
Do
get
you
what I'm
not
saying.
remember the old Nintendo YouTube program?
Well, no, you get what I'm saying though. They're fucking the decisions they make
They're
are so
old.
stuck in the 90s.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I hate the idea that Nintendo won't release their games onto PC. Like they could even have a deal set up with another company like Steam or whoever the hell they want, and just make it so they get profits off of their game, and then Steam gets a little bit for it. As God,
Well,
what's the best way to explain
Gaben
it?
wouldn't go for that though. Gaben wants all the profit. No, what is Steam's 80/20? Is that what Steam is? You get Steam takes 20%, and then the producer gets 80%, like the publisher.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't look too deep into it. I just know
I
that they
believe
get a
it's more
cut
like
out of the games.
25.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess. I guess.
Whereas Epic Games, they only get 12%.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take my dog out. So.
I'm still not a fan of freaking Epic. Epic is a pain in the
So-
ass.
I love Epic. Without
Okay.
them, we wouldn't have gotten God of War on PC and other exclusives from PlayStation.
Okay, talk it out. I am taking my dog out quick.
Okay,
Well, they
bye,
just
loser.
like I was gonna say, they just pissed me off with the whole Paragon thing because, like I said, they
Yeah.
transferred the servers from Paragon to Fortnite when literally Paragon, it was actually pretty good. The biggest issue was the card system that they had, which they could have just changed that to an item system like League and Dota and all the other MOBAs that do shit like that. But the biggest issue the player base had was that there was no ranked, and so a lot of people were starting to get pissed off with them because they wanted ranked, but they didn't want to release ranked until it was completely polished and they were happy with the end product, which wouldn't have happened because the card system was such a big ass issue. And so that's why, as I was talking about predecessor earlier, it just literally it feels like how Paragon should have been with the items part. The mechanics and stuff like that, they're still trying to get the whole code going and working, which I can't blame them. It's not like they were the original creators. And it does feel nice, though. It feels smoother than Overprime and Fault ever did. Which, funny thing is, speaking of Fault, they they're actually going to end up closing down their servers on November 1st. So there's only going to be 2 more people left trying to do the Paragon remake.
Really?
But yeah. So, the issue with the Fault was they tried to go half and half. Like they tried to keep a lot of stuff original, but they tried to change some shit to match their own ideas. But with that came a shit ton of bugs, and I think they were privately funded or something like that. I forget the exact detail on that, but also every time they wanted to advertise, show people that they were working, because they were the first ones to have early access, which is cool. Every time they advertised, there was just a shit ton of bugs that ended up popping up, which made it worse, which ended up killing the player base. And now the player base is so low, it takes half an hour just to find a casual match, which stuff like that is completely unacceptable for a game company, which makes it so people want to quit even more, and then you'll never get people back, and then it just got to the point that Fall decided to end up shutting down its servers, and they are done. So that leaves Overprime and Predecessor. And like I was saying, Predecessor, they're supposed to have their servers come out, well, early access come out sometime then before the end of this year. I won't hold my breath because sometimes you know how gaming companies are with crap like that.
Yeah.
But even when they had the closed beta test, I thought it felt good enough that they could have had the early access right there, just with how it felt. Sure, there needed to be some balance changes with items, and maybe some characters needed a little bit of a nerf because it was just wrong how much stronger they were than the other characters. But that's just basic balancing, and you can't do that without people really playing the game, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And then, so after Predecessors Overprime, I like yet hate their idea because they're completely changing the lore. They're doing their they just had the characters where they took the code for the characters, but they completely changed everything. If that makes sense, like they changed the map, they changed the physics, stuff like that. It feels like, um, what they did was they did one less tower, which cool. It'll make the game faster, but they added like this weird sprint. It just and then the bugs. They are bad with bugs. I feel like if they polished it more, it wouldn't be a bad game, but it's just not a Paragon, and so I don't know what's gonna happen with that. If it's gonna split the fan base between the original Paragon or Overprime, but yeah, I was gonna say honestly, Overprime might end up being dominated by the Korean side, and then Paragon will be more NAEU personally, because it.
Why do you think it'll be for the Korean side?
Just how much faster paced it is compared to Paragon. I've noticed it
Okay,
with
I'm
some
back.
other games. It's just faster paced games are usually Korean dominated, and then anything slower paced, it's just like because you know the
Okay.
whole funny haha Americans are fat, lazy, slow, stuff like that. So
Did I
Yeah.
miss this? Did I miss anything interesting?
uh
Yeah, we were
not
talking
really,
about
no.
your mom.
Oh my god!
She hot?
No.
There's more DLC coming.
Oh, dude. Hey, dude. Don't talk about
So
my
it's
mom like that.
you have to pay for the extra DLC. Oh shit! Jokes aside, yeah, it's just
There's
from
some
the way
pre-order side quests.
The pre-order bundle. The digital deluxe.
from the way Overprime felt, it feels like it's going to be more dominated Korean side, and then Paragon's just yeah. I'm bad at explaining stuff like that, but that's just how it feels. You know when you play a game and you have a feeling of how it's going to be and stuff like that. That's what I got from Overprime and Predecessor. Huh. Funny. So I forgot to mention this, but Overprime actually ended up buying the name Paragon just to try and bring in more people into Overprime because they are doing their own thing, but they want to try and stay closer to Paragon, I guess, so that they can reel more people in, if that makes sense at all. Because it already had an established fan base, and they don't want to try and bring out something new and make it feel completely different, you know?
Yeah, because we know how what is it? Allegiance of Arms, AVA,
Oh,
Valorant
yeah,
Arms.
the global
Yeah,
and how it
Alliance of Valiant
had.
Arms.
yeah. Sorry, I'm not up. I'm not
Yeah.
up to date with the lore on that. That's you and Smokes thing.
That's yeah. Just.
So they released it
Let's
like
leave it to
I remember it
Smoke.
was it was like February this year, and Smoker's like, guys, new AVA, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna download it, and it just was kind of dog shit, and then all of a sudden it completely was gone. I completely forgot about it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I joined Smoke's new server, and then all of a sudden, guys, AVA is launching again after so long. I was like, it just released in February. Like what?
So
But
that was actually another company trying to
yeah,
do a remake, but they
yeah, and that's what
apparently didn't
Smoke
do it
said.
good
Yeah,
enough, and it
yeah.
killed it. Shit like that.
Well,
Yeah.
because they tried to rebuild it on the new engine, but that was the problem. So they just said, fuck it, and just did it on
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 3.
I just don't want to deal with Ava. I like
Smoke
the
has even
game,
quit playing
but
it. What
at the same
happened?
time,
How did it die again?
it didn't die. There's still good player base and everything. It's just it doesn't feel. It feels like Ava, but it doesn't feel balanced.
Mm.
Yeah, if they can tweak some stuff out, maybe it'll start feeling better and stuff like that. But for now, just yeah, I personally can't do it. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that's a shame. Oh man, there's so much gaming shit. Naps, are you excited for any new games? Like anything?
Honestly, I have no clue. I just play games as they come
You
out.
got nothing on the horizon?
Dude, people just tell me about games that pop up, and I'm like, oh, I'll check it out. And then I just go to Steam or find YouTube videos of crap like that and try to see what piques my interest. Because with how many games I already have on Steam, it's hard to have the time to play every single game, you know?
That's fair. Um, but
Because let me see. I can tell you how many games I have. I think it was somewhere around 300. That's how many games I have on my Steam.
Jesus, dude. No, there's some pretty interesting new games coming out. One of the ones I'm excited for, Bethesda's new game, Starfield.
Ah,
Starfield looks
yes.
Starfield looks interesting. It literally just looks like if Fallout and Elder Scrolls went to space, basically.
It
Isn't
had
there
a baby with No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
Oh, what was Ghost talking about?
basically.
I'll have to find the messages, but he was talking about a game and was asking me how it felt, and I've never played it before because it was an old game, and apparently they're coming out with a new
Is it Dead
game
Island?
for it. No, it's not Dead Island.
Dead
It
Island
was
2 is coming out. Was it
I'm
has been coming
excited for
out for a
that.
while.
Really? You don't really get excited for too many things these days, Raven. So I'm
Oh,
actually.
God of War Ragnarok,
Well,
dude! I'm
no,
hyped
no,
for that
no,
shit.
no. I'm saying like you get excited for very few things, so that's intriguing to me. Oh,
Well,
fuck,
yeah,
dude.
because they dropped the trailer like fucking 10 years ago, and then they disappeared off the face of the planet.
See, that's how I was with Cyberpunk. I was so hyped for Cyberpunk. Like, it sounded exactly like the type of game I would love to play. And then it just came out and it was so bad. Apparently now it's a functioning game, but it's like, dude, the game's been out for, what, almost 2 years at this point, coming up soon in December? It's like, Jesus, man.
I'll never forgive them for that.
Yeah, like, CD Projekt Red, like, y'all are cool, but, man, I get people, I get, like, like, in a
Found
sense,
it.
you can almost like agree with what they did, because if they didn't release a game within like the next couple months, all their investors were basically gonna back out, and it was just a shit show for them. But to be fair, it
No.
was kind of their own fault because they took so long to develop it. So
I will never agree with that at all.
I think Cyberpunk could have been like one of the greatest games of like easily one of the greatest single player games of all time.
If it was polished, they just had way
Yeah,
too many issues.
And the
Way too
story
many.
was shit.
that is true. The story kind of goes nowhere because you get the illusion of choice. you get the what is it 3 different options, but they all end up just turning into the same story.
All the same thing, and then
Yeah.
a game ends the same way, and then guess what? There's no fucking free roam.
Yeah. Dude, like that's the thing. Like the one thing I always liked about the Horizon games is in the Horizon games when they go when you're at the final boss, they're like, once you come here, you cannot come back, and you can only free roam. And I love that. That like warning is great. That they need to
It
have
kind of
something like
reminds me of Mass Effect 3 a little bit.
that. Well, didn't they
With
eventually fix Mass Effect?
well, yeah, they made it in the end where you actually could have a different choice and Shepard could live and crap like that. But before, everybody was raving about how no matter what you did, Shepard would end up dying and all that
No
bullshit, and
matter
it
what I do.
pissed off so many people. Like the game felt beautiful, it looked good, but the story ended up pissing a lot of people off because
So,
of the ending.
Naps, are you thinking of Dead Space is what your friend was thinking of? Or what?
No, so the game is actually called Stalker.
Oh.
So it's like Fallout, but it's like Russian Fallout because it's
Whoa, what?
yeah, it's like the whole Chernobyl incident. It's
Oh,
based
shit.
off of something like that, with a nuclear reactor ended up just mutating shit, stuff like that, and yeah, that's the idea of it.
I've always wanted to get into the lore of Fallout, but I just can't. I don't know what it is about me, but I don't know. I think the problem with Fallout is Fallout suffers a lot of the same problems that Doom had for a while. I mean, Doom isn't really. If you play it for just the story, you're kind of crazy, but
I don't know. Old Doom and shit was pretty good.
But no, you get what I'm saying. Like for me, a lot of the throw off for me is to play the old Fallout games. A, it's almost you gotta do some wacky shit. Like you can't just buy them on Steam or anything. And B, they're very outdated. Like even New Vegas and even Fallout 3, they're pretty outdated. They you try to tab out of any of those games and fucking your entire fucking game crashes, and then you got to go in task manager it. And then sometimes because it's the curse of the 2009 2008 3D games. Like Call of Duty World at War has the same exact problem, so does the fear in all those fucking games. You fucking tab out of it and your computer monitor just turns black and you can't even open up task manager. That shit's just ridiculous. World at War used to never do that, and then all of a sudden it started doing that after, I don't know if it was Steam updated or something happened, but eventually something happened, and these games are just so unstable now.
Well, wasn't there also an issue with actually the Unreal 5 engine? Is people were saying that video cards would just crash because of the engine.
I don't know if it's just the engine. Maybe in development, because when you're in Unreal Engine 5, the amount of stuff that has to constantly be preloaded is ridiculous. Even in Unreal Engine 4, my graphics card, if I opened up Unreal Engine 4 and I started just painting grass everywhere, my fucking graphics card would go it would just go it would go crazy, dude. It would go so loud because it's so much to process and handle for it. So I think that maybe could have been a problem. I don't know about that. I know a lot of people were having problems with AMD cards because AMD's new update was kind of doggy for a lot of the FPS games. I suffered from that too in Apex and in COD. A lot of my FPS games were just dying and causing my PC to completely have driver errors, like malfunctioning, to the point where I had to restart my PC. It was bad. There was some bad shit going on. I had never been AMD my entire life, and then my friend, he had a 5700, and I only had like a 1660 something, I don't remember, and he got a newer card, and so he sold me this one for like $200. He only had this one for like a year, not even, so it's like still brand new, but I mean it works fine. It's just there's some driver update errors that are problems.
Which card did you say it was?
It's a 5700 something. I don't remember. I could check. Hold on.
5700.
Imagine not being a 6800 like
It's
me.
the AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT. That's my GPU.
Okay. I was gonna say my GPU right now is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of behind.
Dude, I I asked Raven this. This is actually how I started talking to Raven again recently, a couple months ago, 2-ish months ago. I asked him if he had a motherboard with 2 GPU slots, because this motherboard that I have doesn't. I wanted to keep my 1660 because the NVINC in it is so valuable for streaming. Oh my god, the rendering, the NVINC rendering that it has is so fucking good that it's that alone makes it more valuable than any AMD card in the entire world, and that card is kind of doggy. Any card that has NVINC for the encoder is so much more valuable to me than any other graphics card in the entire planet. They could make the newest 4000 series only have to run on 150 watts and be able to perform for the next 1,000 years, and I wouldn't get it because if it didn't have NVINC. I'm not even kidding.
Hmm.
The NVINC is trust me, for streaming. If you use the old NVINC works really well, but the new NVINC 2 setting, if you use the new NVINC setting and you have a newer graphics card, it's flawless. You have great streams. That's why if you notice, I haven't streamed in like so long because I'm afraid to. I'm afraid my GPU is just gonna fly away and fucking grow wings. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what.
Because your computer's crap.
My computer's not fucking crap, dude. I built this motherfucker myself. You goddamn twink.
A
dude.
motherboard with only 1 GPU slot, bro. You got a Wish PC.
No, dude. I picked this. Raven, when I built this PC, I didn't even have a job yet. Okay, when I built this original PC, I didn't have a job yet. I had to pick budget parts. I
okay, so it's a budget shitty PC.
No, it's now it's a $2,500 PC, but when I built it,
it's cheaper to buy a whole computer instead of parts. It's ridiculous
sometimes. But no, I have a brand new i7.
It's always cheaper to build it.
I have an AMD Radeon. Yes. No,
yes.
No, not nowadays. I've looked for parts.
Maybe in that 1 month that the 30 series was completely out of stock, and the only way to get a 30 series card that wasn't scalped was to get it off of a pre-built PC and throw the pre-built away. But now that problem doesn't exist anymore. That problem is not. If it does,
always cheaper to build it.
No, I'm just saying for overall, like if you're getting a whole motherboard, a whole CPU, GPU, battery supply. That's what I meant.
Battery supply.
Yeah, it's cheaper to get all that yourself than to order one.
And see, when I had to accumulate my parts over most of COVID, and luckily during COVID, during the early stages of COVID, everything was so cheap and so perfect. I got my 1600 for $130, and then 3 months later, the card was $350. It's
because of all the Bitcoin miners.
Yeah, it was because everybody was at home. Everybody started mining Bitcoin, started doing all this bullshit on their PCs and thinking they know everything because, the moment one person touches one thing, they become an expert on it. I hear that these days. So, everybody's got to get the top of the line. Even grandma's got to get the 3070 because, it's going to outperform on Microsoft Word so well for her. So
it's funny shit. Speaking of that, kid, I would say he was about 20 years old, so he's not really a kid, but he ended up, back when I owned the computer store, he brought a phone in, didn't know how to turn the son of a bitch on. Dude, how are you that stupid?
There's a button on the side.
Okay, what was it? What type of phone was it? Because if it's an iPhone, I can think of like 1,000 different ways, including if it was a newer one. It was an iPhone 12. So if he would have just put his face up to the screen, it would have turned on. How did he not understand that? What? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Was it dead?
Dude.
Did you just have to plug it in?
No, it wasn't even dead. It was just, I think he shut off the setting, because I think there's a setting in the iPhone 12 where you can shut that off, where if you get it too close to your face, it'll turn on automatically.
he probably because he didn't turn Face ID on, because he's like, "You're gonna take my face and put it all over the internet. Oh my god!" It's like they already do that.
I literally just took the phone. I was like, "Hey, you see this magical little button here? Push the motherfucker." It was like, how do you not know that, dude? In this day and age, with everything being about electronics and crap like that, it just blows my mind.
When I had uh, when during April 2020 when I first met you guys and we were doing the Paladins team, and I stopped because I was fixing PCs for my friends and stuff like that, and they were paying me. But what's funny is I didn't even own a PC until literally like a full functioning, like I completely had all the parts myself. I put it together, put it in my case. I didn't have that until September of 2020. And what's funny is I had when I built my first PC, it's very similar to the one I have now, just with more modern parts. My PC, I kid you not, I probably still have a picture somewhere. Was in a case, okay, that had no airflow. It was just one big metal box from 2006, and on the side of it, it had a big E. It was called the E machine. I looked it up. You can look these up. It was an old line of PCs, and on the side of it, I'm not even kidding. This thing, dude, if somebody would have broken my house and if they had any knowledge of anything, they would have looked at this, been like, "Damn, that shit's junk." But it would have been like a $2,000 PC inside. Literally, this thing had on the side of it had a sticker that literally said, "Things you can do on the E machine: view photos, open the internet." It was like the most basic funny shit, and it had this picture of like the old Windows XP background screen. It was so fucking hilarious. But then me and my friend would always joke about this. We found this on Newegg. We found this big pink cylinder case from Japan, and it was called like the Game X. It was like super long, funny name, and we would always joke like, "We're gonna get it, we're gonna get it." And then one day, I was like, "You know what? Fuck it, I am gonna get it," and I got it as a joke, and it's actually fucking hilarious. It's so good for airflow. It actually has great airflow, but it looks so fucking stupid. It's just this big pink cylinder. It's fucking hilarious, man. Uh, but no, Raven, I remember when you were building your new PC, buddy. You were all
Oh
hyped.
yeah.
You were excited. You were like, "Oh my god, I got this and
Fuck
this
yeah.
and this." You were like you were like squeezing. You were just
Fuck yeah. Dude, I spent a good amount of money on it and built it myself. It was amazing.
How much did you spend on your computer?
3,600.
Fuck you.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna pay $6,000 for somebody to build it for me.
gaming on Mac moment.
Well, and just anything in
Aw.
general. Like I looked
Ugh.
up my exact specs on iBuyPower, CyberPower PC, and other places. It would have costed me $6,000 to get the same PC, but it cost me only 36 to build it myself.
Oh my god, dude. What do you got in there? A fucking
Yeah.
like what do you got a dildo in there that like automatically fucks you or what? Like why is it so expensive? What graphics card do you got?
I got the Radeon 6800 XT Sapphire Nitro Plus.
Did you overspend for it or did you get it for retail?
I got it for retail.
Ooh.
And then I have the AMD 5950X.
Wait, you have two graphics cards?
No, it's a CPU,
Oh.
dumbass.
Oh, dude, fuck. I don't know if the only
And then I have my motherboard
I
is
know
the
is
Corsair Dark Hero 7 or 8.
I have the
Ryzen
Ryzen 3700X.
You guys actually use AMD chipsets? Y'all are crazy, dude. Holy
Because they're
fuck.
better.
I mean,
AMD
no,
is
yes.
yeah, it's higher quality than
Yes.
Intel nowadays, especially.
Yes, however, I'm not gay, so
That's why you use NVIDIA, because you think you're better when you're not.
no, dude. No.
It's okay to be gay with the computers, okay? Because I'd rather my CPU take 2 dicks at once than only be able to handle one.
No,
Helps
dude.
get shit done faster.
No, I kid you not, the new Gen i7 is amazing. And they have an even newer one coming out, the 13th gen. I don't even know if that's
Intel
out
fucking
yet.
sucks compared to AMD. 100%.
Did you see the Intel was like, we are currently I think they said something about like how they wanted to develop graphics cards and everybody was just like, no, please.
They came out with them already.
Did they? They did, because they were like, we are
They're
currently in the
budget
works.
as hell. One of them is actually super glued together.
Dude, literally Intel makes PCs for, or makes chipsets for PCs that are meant to completely have no graphics card and is completely meant to run off the fucking CPU to perform for it. But the problem with that is that sucks in the long run, because eventually it wears down the CPU a lot, especially since they're cheaply built. It wears it down over like 5 years. You're only gonna have max out of a pre-built office PC that's like $800. I don't know, fucking 5 years, not even. Your CPU is gonna be fucking being able to cook steak like a PS4, like.
Not to mention what I heard what they do with Intel CPUs. I'll never buy one again.
They fuck them in, dude. They fuck them.
No, they have a separate OS into the chip themselves that's constantly communicating with Intel servers, sending them your information.
Good. Then they can personalize more dildo ads for me, please.
I don't like that. However, here's the funny thing. I do like when the 5000 series came out, like the 5950X. Intel was literally sitting there like 2 or 3 years ago, and they actually publicly admitted that they can't outbeat AMD at the moment and that they're sorry. Like, yeah, we're trying. Our bad.
The only AMD chipset that I know that has like that most of my friends use, they use the Threadripper. I don't know if that's still good anymore. Did they update? Is there an updated version of the Threadripper? Or is that just a line of AMD?
Threadrippers are amazing. They're like 24 cores.
Jesus fuck.
They still hold up for if you're doing high quality renders and other types of video editing. They are amazing.
One of the best cards, if you're doing computer animations and VFX, one of the best cards you can get, and it's not the new ones, is the old NVIDIA 4000. What are they? The RTOs? What are they? I don't remember what they're called. They're like this $4,000 fucking graphics card, and they suck at gaming, but they render shit like it's nothing. Like, they're fucking crazy. They put all the power into fucking rendering. But no.
Well, that's the whole point of them.
Yeah, I know. And it's great, but I remember somebody bought one on, I don't remember if it was, I think I saw it on Reddit. It was on like, I don't remember what subreddit it was. The dude was like, bought this $4,000 piece of junk, dude. Doesn't even play video games. And he was talking about how like the performance was dog shit. And the dude goes, buddy, you got a graphics card for rendering. You didn't even get the right fucking card. He goes, but 4,000's higher than 2,000. Wrong fucking series, you dumb fuck. You fucking dumbass. 4,000's higher than 2,000. Fucking
it's worth more, so it's better.
Yeah, dude, $4,000, dude. A higher price point should be better. Oh, people are clowning on him.
Just don't get how people can be so stupid nowadays. It blows my mind.
And no, Raven, I know you have something against Nvidia, but the encoder they have.
I don't have anything against Nvidia. I just don't trust them after what they did with the 2000 and 3000 series cards.
But no, I mean,
same reason why I feel bad for anybody who gets a 4000 series.
The people who get 4000s need to go to hell. Like, they need to burn. But the NVINC in the newer cards is crazy. I get it. If you're gonna game, sure, go AMD. But if you want to do anything on streaming end, Nvidia has like way over the top, because AMD focuses less on that and completely more on the gaming side of it, like more on just the graphics. Nvidia cards are more like a well-rounded type style where they can do a little bit of everything at the cost of a little less performance.
I just don't like buying things from a shitty company. That's all.
And also the 4000 series is ridiculous. That's an actual joke. I don't remember.
That's a cap.
It is. It's complete bullshit. The cards have to have a power supply unit of like 1250 watts, and that's baseline. that means if it somehow surges at any time, you're blowing your PC up. It's dying. And also in the test runs, so there's this thing called Moore's law. You might have heard of it. Basically, Moore's law says that as PCs get more powerful, the amount of energy to basically like the amount of energy and electricity that needs to run them, and that's just true. So and Nvidia's like, we're just gonna get ahead of the curve. We're just gonna get immediately ahead of the curve. So we're just gonna go all the way to the top of the line, 1250 watt PSU, and you're in there, and it's gonna be like the greatest card, which is just not true. It's gonna probably just have a little better performance in the 30 series. But the problem with that is when they were testing them, they were killing motherboards. They were frying motherboards. They were so because when you surge over 1300 watts, that's a lot of fucking shit going into your fucking PC. They were completely killing PCs. Like they wouldn't even turn on anymore. So I think anybody who buys a baseline 4000 series, honestly, I think anybody who buys a baseline Nvidia card until the Ti series comes out is fucking dumb. To be honest. But
It's the shady practices of Nvidia I don't like.
my
Like for example, the 2000 series came out. Oh my god, DirectX 12. Oh my god, our cards can do DirectX 12. Look at this shit. And then guess what? Everybody got the cards. Guess what? Oh yeah, we fucked up. Yeah, they don't really do DirectX 12 well. Oh my god, we're sorry.
but the RTX.
And then everybody fucking like was like, oh okay, we understand. And then like they come up with the 3000 series. Oh yeah, these actually do it and do a lot better than the 2000 series. We're sorry. And then they still fucked it up. They fucked up. I believe the 3070s were supposed to have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and somebody found out that it was actually only giving you 6 gigabytes. Nvidia denied it up and fucking down. Oh my god, no, you get the full 8 gigabytes. And then like they proved no, you didn't. Oh, yeah, we're sorry. We're sorry.
No, dude. My history teacher, or not my history teacher. I do youth service leadership with the new history teacher who teaches the 10th graders. I help out in his classroom, and his name is, oh, I'm not gonna give his name out. Never mind. That's a bad idea. But his friend got a job at Nvidia, and his friend is a tech support, or not tech support, he's like a technician. Like he works on support cases that people have with technical problems on the card. So for example, somebody will send their card in, right? And be like, my card has fucking bugs in it, and he has to go in and clean that shit out. Or somebody fried their entire PC because the card surged over 1250 watts. It's his job to go in and find out why the fuck that happened. But yeah, he was telling me that he says it's a nightmare right now. Nvidia's stock is tanking really badly because their investors are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they're like, "No, it's gonna make sense in the long run." So they're panicking right now at Nvidia, and I mean I think the problem with Nvidia is they were like, "Well, everybody's just gonna buy your cards because Bitcoin mining exists," and then when crypto started dying, they kind of went into full blown panic because they realized they had no idea what the fuck they were gonna do now.
Well, wasn't Nvidia trying to put a block on the whole crypto mining? So they made
Yeah.
like specialty crypto mining cards and specialty gaming
Yeah,
cards, crap
yeah,
like that.
and the problem is the crypto cards were dog shit, and so were the gaming ones. And then people found out that the crypto ones were just 3700s, but they didn't even like get rid of the technology or the hardware. It was still there. It was just locked. So all you had to do was just go into the like some sort of code. I don't remember what it was. You could just code it to just run at the full power, and it would just work the same. So then people were just buying these cards because they were cheap as fuck, and then Nvidia stopped selling them because they were like, "Oh, that's fucking stupid." But no, I mean performance wise, this 5700 is great. I think it's great, but for streaming wise, I'm afraid I'm gonna stream one day and then I'm gonna wake up and then this thing's gonna be fucking eating my strawberries in the kitchen. I don't know what's gonna happen, dude. It could just grow legs and walk away. Also, not to mention so I have fucking butterfingers and I got these meaty ass fingers. When I was first building my PC, I need to get a new motherboard, but I'm so lazy. I'm pulling a naps here. I was just so lazy that I've just never done it. When I was building this PC like 2.5, 2ish years ago, I there was like I don't remember what it was, but I broke it off, and I was like, fuck. And so I didn't even put it back on. I tried to see if I could just stick it back down and it would work, and it didn't. I just said fuck it, threw it away. I don't know if it ever did anything because my PC's ran at normal performance ever since, but it was scary because I was like, oh fuck, I just broke my fucking motherboard.
Was it a round thing?
Yeah, it was a comp.
You
It's on my comp.
probably took away some resistor or
Yeah,
fucking
I was thinking it was a
thermal
resistor.
dissipator.
Yeah, it was probably a resistor or comp. I don't remember, something comp. I don't remember. I tried to look it up one day and kind of found an answer, but
Well, it's kind of funny because me personally, back when I
I won't
had
take that
my
type of disrespect.
business, I literally just bought my parts, gave the computer to my employee, and said, "Put this shit together." I got away with that shit, dude.
So Naps, you
He
don't.
was
Oh, sorry. Go
he
ahead.
was.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say he literally wasn't doing anything at the time, anyways. It was during the time when Bitcoin or uh, cryptocurrency mining was at its peak, and so cards went through the roof in price and shit like that. So he was trying to actually find a video card at the time, and all I did was buy a motherboard, a CPU, and RAM, and had him transfer everything.
So Naps, you don't own that company anymore, do you? That business?
Hell no.
Yeah, I know you said you sold it. Did you? Did was it like? Did you sell it for like what it was worth or more than it was worth, or did you get undersold on it?
Oh no. I wanted the fuck out. I literally lowballed myself just so I could get the fuck out of there.
Damn, that sucks.
It's just
Damn.
where I live, it doesn't have enough population, and everybody here are cheap cunts, dude. Like I'm telling you. So, iPhone 12 back when they first came out, to buy a screen, it was $400 for us to buy like the LCD screen to so that we can try and transfer it, fix it, bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Well, I told people 520 cuz $80 for the labor and then $40 just for extra for the screen. Trying to be nice, all that bullshit. And do you know how many times people would be like, no, hell, even for like $80 down here for an iPhone XR is what I charged one time for a person. They're like, that's too fucking expensive. How?
No.
How?
And the funny thing about the iPhones is the screen isn't even the most expensive part of it. It's the fucking back glass. Now on the new ones, like my phone, it doesn't have the back glass anymore. They got rid of that because now they use the back. But like the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8, the back glass on that phone was so expensive. It was like
So,
it was cheaper to buy a new phone. It was actually cheaper
so
to just buy a new phone.
let me educate you for a second. So the glass itself
Is not.
Actually,
is only like $5 or $10.
Yeah, I know. But
It's
Apple,
the process of getting that bitch out, dude.
Yeah.
If you don't have that fancy laser bullshit that they have now, literally you can sit there chipping at the glass for a good 8 to 16 hours to get that bitch off.
Well, I know,
And
like
so,
Apple would, because it's Apple, and they gotta have everything. You gotta be Apple certified to do this. You gotta be Apple certified to do that. And I know,
oh
like,
fuck,
dude,
yeah.
I could imagine you probably had troubles with that because did you ever get the Apple certification for that or no?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Do you know how much regulations and bullshit they have if you try to do something like that? Fuck you.
Yeah, and also I think
Literally,
don't
this is
you
what I
as
got
the
years before that.
don't you as the employer also have to pay them to have the certification to do it? Like, and you also was it something about I think because somebody talked, I don't
Oh,
remember if it funny
there was
funny
a
enough.
base payment to get in the first place, a certain amount every month, They would send work to you, but it's like we're in a shitty little town. It's not much people coming through this
I was gonna
actual
say.
town. They just go through the highway. And so it's just like they're not going to come here because there are a lot of different places that are closer, and it's just like no.
I was gonna say
It's
that's a city thing. Like you would only do that if you were like in an urban area. And even now,
yeah.
brick and mortar stores are dying. So
If I was in fucking Salt Lake or Moab or some bullshit like that, I could have made fucking bank compared to down here. Is the thing. Literally, I would always compare my screen prices. I would always go about 10% cheaper, 15% cheaper than anywhere in the state, so that I could keep up trying to get people interested in coming in and getting phones
and
fixed and shit like
that's
that.
exactly what we have to do where I live here in the small town. So, like, I don't live near the urban areas of Minnesota. So, in this small town, everything has to be unless you are just like you're the spot that everybody goes to, like that one restaurant or whatever. You have to charge 15 to 20% less than what's normally being charged for that same stuff, like that same service in the cities. Our where I work, the pizza that we used to cook used to be like you could get a large pizza for like $14, and then when everything started rising, now you go to for example, we just did this. We just went and had pizza in the cities when we were on a college visit, and it was like $25 for a large pizza. And then I was like, damn, because I was pissed off because we started raising our prices, and now it's like $17 for a large pizza where I live. But you go to a restaurant that basically gives you the exact same thing, basically, and oh my god, it's just a little higher quality, and you get the $25 price mark on it for a fucking large pizza. That was to eat in. That wasn't even charging like with DoorDash and shit like that. I can imagine that shit would have been like, or not DoorDash, but like when you're DoorDashing food, I can imagine that's gotta be fucking expensive. You got delivery fee, you got tips, you got fucking support local fee, fucking stupid. Like they just make shit up, bro. Like the Minnesota fee, just some random goofy fee for no reason. Not even the tax. It's just a fee for being living here. Like
You see, I live in BFE, Utah, so I
yeah.
don't have to deal with shit like that.
Yeah.
If I want pizza, I personally go to a place called Little Sleezers, or Little Caesars is the
Little
actual name.
sleezers.
I have just always called it Little Sleezers for as long as I
Pizza.
can remember. But it's
Do they still have $5
$10.
pizzas?
No, it's
Oh,
$10
dude.
nowadays because of all the prices rising and bullshit like that. By the way, Raven, what the fuck were you trying to say earlier?
What?
What were you trying to say before he went off on his pizza tangent?
I have no idea.
No,
Because it was when we were talking about phones and stuff like that. So
I don't
I was
remember trying to
curious.
say anything.
no. Little Caesars is like the Dasani of pizza chains. Like, last resort, I'll gulp it down. But if I can get just about anything else, I'm gonna get it.
I prefer
Even
Little
Domino's.
Caesars.
I don't even like Domino's, but I would take Domino's 1,000 years of my life than I would take Little Caesars.
Dude,
Well,
Little Caesars bacon wrap pizza was fucking bomb, man.
Dude, okay, Pizza Hut, ass. But some Pizza Huts, good, depending on where you go. The one thing that I loved about all Pizza Huts was those Cinnabon cinnamon roll, like $6, and you got that big container, like the pizza tray of fucking cinnamon rolls. Oh my god, oh my, whew. It's those things, gulping those down was like, oh man, that's like a whole. If you never did that, you're missing out on life. You're missing out on the pleasures of our modern society. The one good
I,
thing about it.
I can't eat too much greasy food. So
But when I went down to culture is so weird because like the United States is really big. Like for example, I was just talking to you, Naps, well, sort of, about how you literally are like not even on the West Coast technically, and you're still like a 2-day trip away from us. Like it would take us like 18 hours to drive to where you live. and you're not even a coastal state. But
flying
when I
would
would
only take 2 hours.
yeah, it was like 2 hour and 30-minute flight when I looked, but it's also really cheap to go to Utah. So
I was gonna say, I know my
because
dad goes through
other than Salt
one.
Lake City, like what is there to do? Like breathe?
So Moab, that's
Yeah.
literally the whole thing about Moab. Is it's one of the few tourist place because of all the red sand and or red rocks and bullshit like that. Because of the it's there's a bunch of fucking
But
science in it,
but
and I'm
like
too lazy to get
the
into it.
cultural the cultural change is just ridiculous. We went down to Arkansas in April, and so
Arkansas.
dude, Arkansas, and when we went down there for to see our family, I kid you not, Arkansas is a goofy odd place, man. It instead of here in Minnesota, in every small town that has about 2,000, no, probably 2,500 people more, McDonald's is in every town. Okay, McDonald's is your, and I imagine it's probably a little similar in Utah, where McDonald's is kind of just everywhere. You know, any place they can make $1, there's gonna be a McDonald's there. Our Burger King.
Dude, I have 5 subways in my town.
Subway, dude. I had 3 Subways within a 20-mile drive of me. Trust me, I know. But when you get down to Arkansas, there's Subway, there's Burger King, and there's McDonald's every once in a while. But do you know what there is in every fucking town? 500 people, it's in this town. 1,000 people, it's in this town. 50,000 people, there's 30 of them. Dude, Sonic. There is Sonic in every town in that state, I swear. We literally went through a town that had only, or no, we were staying in a town because we were going to see our family. They only live in a town that has about 1,200 people in it. So it's like, it's a fifth of the size of the town I live in, right? And they had 2 Sonics.
It's funny, our Sonic had to close down because it wasn't getting enough business.
And it's just like a culture thing, because down there, you know, you go to Sonic, you don't go to McDonald's. Sonic does breakfast. Sonic, dude. I was like, you know what? I haven't had Sonic breakfast before because I never have Sonic because we only have probably 2 Sonics in the entire state. But when we went down there, I was like, you know what? I never had Sonic breakfast. I'll go have it. So I woke up at like 7:30 in the morning. And I've never seen a line so long in such a small town. There had to have been at least a third of the town going to get Sonic breakfast. It baffled me. I was in shock. I was in awe. I was like, Jesus. And Waffle House is like the same way down south in the east. Fucking dude. And Waffle House is ratchet, dude. That's where you go to see people die. Like people fucking kill each other.
Waffle House sounds like fucking Blue Waffle.
Dude, no, dude.
Fucking disgusting.
No, dude. Waffle House is. I actually have been to a Waffle House, funny enough. And Waffle Houses are so weird because they don't look like a normal restaurant, like in today's time, because they just have never updated anything other than like their logo or like the way they build the buildings or how they design them. They're all the exact same, and they have been for like the past like 60 years. They're fucking. It's so goofy in there, and it's like, oh my gosh, man, the amount of shit that goes down. You can just look up Waffle House, and the top result will probably be fights after it. Like, it's there is some. I've seen there's an old Vine that used to make me fucking laugh a lot. It's at a Waffle House, and it's literally like a girl behind the counter, like an actual Waffle House worker, beating the fuck out of this lady, smashing her head on like the bar, and the guy just goes, "Can I please get a waffle? Can I please get a waffle?" that TikTok used to fucking make me laugh. That was like my favorite shit.
You know what I want to know? How the fuck did we get to this when we were talking about games and computers and shit like that?
When you want a waffle, you just want a waffle.
Dude, they're open 24/7 too. They don't ever close. You can go at 2 in the morning and get a waffle. No, this is the podcast. This is what makes our podcast great. See, instead of having a like Joe Rogan where we're gonna have like a specific time to do this and this and this, and then we have to do sponsor reads because we're not that popular yet, because Raven doesn't have to do that yet until we get sponsors.
Well, I feel like this is a podcast for people with ADHD. Literally,
because most of it is. But
Autism Central.
No, that's exactly what we should rename it to, the Autism Cast, because it is
The
completely
Autism Beast.
the problem that I don't want our podcast to be like normal podcasts where everything is exactly cookie cutter set in stone before you do it. We go in and I wouldn't say we necessarily wing it. Like we have topics we're going to talk about, but we just talk about whatever the fuck we want, and that's how we make our podcast. That's exactly why I think having guests is great. Because I've tried. That's the problem that I did when I did our first. That's why I was nervous to even have a guest. But luckily, you did exactly how we wanted like this to go. Because this is exactly how I was thinking. You know, just normal cast, but we just have somebody else fucking talking, speaking. But when I did
I'm
it with
surprised you got through it with the smoke thing, because he
No.
probably just sat there bitching for full 2
yes,
hours.
that's exactly what happened. No, if Smoke
Oh
ever
my
watches
god,
this,
this game sucks because it lags. All my
okay,
shots
I
miss because it
guarantee it-
lags.
no,
Oh my god.
I can go to. I'm gonna just skip to a random point in that video, and I guarantee it will just be Smoke talking about something, and he's bitching. I almost bet money on it. I'm gonna go to 46 minutes, 47 minutes, 33 seconds.
Oh god, I like the guy, but it's just the amount of complaining he can do blows my mind.
But
He's a Brit.
dude, the Brits wake up and don't get to see the sun, so I don't blame them. No, when I had Smoke on the podcast way back a year ago, the problem that I had is I was so nervous about doing it with having a guest on the show that I did every topic completely like exactly when I was gonna do it, how I was gonna do it, how I was gonna ask the question, and I was even like almost rehearsing because Smoke was waiting for his dad to bring him something. So I was like
Isn't
literally
everybody
rehearsing it.
nervous the first time?
Well, shut the fuck up. You're such a fucking dumbass. No,
And he got smoked.
and I got smoked, dude.
Oh, I was gonna say, dude, I would have felt so bad for you because you try to do something like that with smoke, it ain't gonna cut out.
It actually, funny enough, I felt it went better than I imagined it. I originally just was like, you know what? I was bored and I was like, Smoke, you want to do this podcast? And I was just joking because we were just playing Paladins. And he just goes, sure. And I was like, oh, I did not expect you to say yes to that. And then,
Oh god, you were still playing Paladins?
no, this was like a year ago, dude.
The superior Overwatch.
I don't even think I even met Raven yet by that point. I don't even think Raven would have been on my. I don't even know if Raven would have been on my friends list yet by that point. Oh, whoops. Let's see.
It was good until
July-
it hit the 60s. I want to say OB 60s.
The early dude, like in the 30s, I think that was its prime. Open beta 30 was great.
I would say around OB 40, it was still pretty goddamn good. Like it felt.
I think
decent.
the game died for me. No, and funny enough, the game died for me way after it died for most people. Most people had died in like 2018, 2019. The game died after, or right before Tiberius. No, right as Tiberius. When Tiberius launched, I think I lost all hope for my life after that.
I was more around like OB 55, somewhere around there. I'm
which
like,
would have been
dude,
fucking what?
They are starting to do bad patches like this.
Oh, dude, when they started doing bad patches.
And then they're like, oh, hey, we have something that'll fix this.
Oh, no, dude, the patches, when the patches started to become bad, that was when I knew that the game was going downhill. So when when they created Evil Mojo or whatever in the complete dedicated team, and then all of a sudden they started having these bad patches. They're like, guys, we're gonna fix it. And I was like, oh, I've heard this before. I've heard this like 1,000 times before, man. I've heard
So
this.
that was actually before Evil Mojo. Evil Mojo was afterwards, after the whole card disaster and crap like that.
Wasn't Evil Mojo early 2018, or am I getting
Nope.
trolled?
You're trolling yourself.
Oh, when was it? Wait, what the fuck? Oh my god, the Smoke podcast got uploaded the first day I ever talked to Raven. Wow, it's a sign.
But yeah, it was It was later than that, and I believe it was like OB68, OB70 is when Evil Mojo started taking over, which
Really?
they have done a little better with
Mm,
updates, but it's
with bug fixes, yes. With characters, no. They
I
still
hate the whole everybody gets caught bullshit. Cauterized.
dude, that pisses me the
That
fuck off.
drives me insane. It's like literally, you're fucking the healers over. You're making them useless. Period.
What,
They can't
nobody
do
ever bought
anything.
it. No, in the bots weren't buying it. Then fucking maybe fix your server so people don't crash every goddamn game. Like, it,
Oh,
you're
the
fixing.
servers have always been horrible.
Well,
Like
no,
I don't
you
ever
get what
expect
you
that to get better.
you get what I'm saying though. You're fixing the problem by not fixing the problem. That's exactly all Evil Mojo does. Oh, you guys want the problem fixed? All right, here's a new character that's gonna completely.
Oh, that's exactly what High Res was doing.
I know, no. But I'm saying like that's their mentality, and that's why Paladins has died. Like it has been dying since it released because a character is broken, and so then they go, okay, guys, we know this character is broken. So instead of nerfing them, here's a character that's even more broken that is going to be the only counter for the next 6 months to this character. Because now there's one counter, so you can't bitch about it. And then...
Oh, it's like League of Legends. Everything's so
Dude,
broken.
oh my god,
Just
dude! And then that's how you get, and then that is how you get Rom and fucking Tiberius. Where Tiberius, when he came out, because Rom had Juggernaut, and that was 75%, he could get that every. Basically, I don't even remember what it was, but with that card, you could get it down to 10 seconds. You could be 75%, and you would run for like 10 seconds. Oh my god, dude. And then that's when you get characters like Tiberius, which Tiberius would literally, you could be the most brain dead, like 4-year-old and drop a 250k damage game because he was just so busted when he came out.
Yeah, but they also released ROM when COT was at its lowest. So literally,
dude,
hit them with the
Rom
healing
was
he
bad,
had.
dude. Rom's release, bro, you could sit on point for literal days. The matches were like that one patch when, oh my god, they did that with Nando too. That one patch where the Nando shield could be when you could put it up and down like without the timer.
The Infinite
And-
Nando bullshit.
the Infi Nando bullshit. I still have a video on my channel somewhere where there was the first point fight took 13 minutes. It was not very fun. Trust me. That fucking game turned psycho.
That is where Overwatch is a little bit better because they actually have where if you get a kill, you can capitalize on.
Well,
on
Overwatch
it.
also has Blizzard
unless you
polish,
use
too.
ultimates. Blizzard fucking sucks.
No, like there's that sense of Blizzard polish, which isn't necessarily that good, but you know
well, their game mechanics are usually better, but as a company, they fucking suck.
No, you know that the Blizzard polish is, you know the game is gonna look good, and you know it's gonna look clean and have good hitboxes, but it's not
Good
gonna,
R34.
Yeah, dude, that's the problem with Blizzard games, bro.
Always R34.
Oh, I have a question for you, Naps. I have a serious question for you, Naps. Is there I saw something, I couldn't believe my eyes. I don't know if it's actually in the game or not. It was the most revealing outfit on Mei I had ever seen in Overwatch 2. Is that actually in the game? Like her in a bikini? Is that actually in the game?
I don't know. I'll check right now for you.
Dude, that was literally you could see like her stuff. Like not her
I feel like that's a mod, but I'll double check
I
for
would
you.
imagine it's a mod because it looked way too like that shit would have been in an M plus game. That would have been it was brutal.
I just let me sit on my face. What are you talking
No,
about?
I mean no, I don't give a fuck. But speaking of characters sitting on their faces, no. The new Bayonetta.
But she's kind of just. It's like it's not proportionate, right?
Have you
know?
guys heard the new? Okay, I'm sorry for. Well, Naps is checking. Have you heard the new Bayonetta 3 controversy?
Yeah.
Everybody in
their
their
voice actor enough and shit like that. Yeah.
Did you hear the conclusion to the story though, Naps?
No.
The conclusion was she was completely fucking lying. According, and this was backed up by like multiple sources. She apparently they were only going to pay her $4,000, and she said this is immoral and this is not right. She said I'm going to leave, and they in Platinum Games was like, okay, hold on. So they're talking to Nintendo. Nintendo goes, well, yeah, go ahead, pay her more if you need to. And so they were like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna charge you $4,000 per session. And at minimum, there's going to be 5 sessions, and at most, it's going to be 8 sessions. So you're going to walk away with like You're going to walk away with
20
like
to 40,000.
20 to 30. Yeah, $20,000 to $40,000 for one game. And she goes sessions. Or they also said that according to Platinum Games, the sessions were only going to be 4 hours long, which means she was getting about $1,000 per hour to voice Bayonetta 3. And funny enough, she then said that that was not enough money and that she was getting treated immorally, despite that being over 70% more than what she was paid to do Bayonetta 2. So
I was gonna say, I feel like that's actually a pretty goddamn good deal, though.
according to like other voice actors, this is extremely high. The people who did the dub for the new Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie, and this is completely bullshit. I think this isn't right. They apparently came out and said they only got paid $250 to voice the entire movie.
How?
Like,
What?
yeah, they
Dude, that's just wrong.
That is 100% wrong.
That is bad. But no, so this chick, so then when they confronted her about it, she quote said, instead of trying to be like, no, I have proof. Here's the contract that says that they were only going to pay me $4,000 for the entire time. She, instead of doing that, just absolutely said this. She goes, an absolute lie. I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me, frankly, and get on with my life in theater. She wrote in an email, according to Bloomberg, and
I thought it was only 2,000 at first.
No. It was, and okay. Here's what she wanted. So she declined that, even despite it being $4,000 per session. She said, they said, in response to this, Taylor reportedly requested a 6-figure payment and residuals on the game, which means she would get basically like a % or 2 of the game's revenue from there on, and anything dealt with it.
No.
So
you're not GTA. Fuck off.
So then Platinum declined this counteroffer and said it was extremely too high. After the two parties couldn't come to an agreement, began holding auditions for a new voice actor. Thus, we get Jennifer Hale, who voiced she voiced somebody in Mass Effect, and she voices Ash in Overwatch. So imagine the voice of
Mass Effect.
She voiced Commander Shepard, female Commander Shepard.
Okay.
But so imagine Ash's voice, but with, is Ash British in Overwatch?
No.
Okay.
She's more like that
Like
old
McCree?
cowgirl type deal, yeah.
Okay. So imagine the Ash voice actor with more of a British accent, and there you go. That's what the new Bayonetta is going to sound like. Apparently,
Honestly, I do feel voice actors need to get paid a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially when you find out what the 3 actors for GTA 5 got paid when that game made $1 billion in 3 days.
I've never even heard their sales numbers. How much did those fuckers get paid?
They got paid like around 20. I don't quote me, because I know Rockstar started to get better after the whole GTA 4 controversy they had with that voice actor. But I believe that they got paid like $30K.
That's, I mean, at the time in 2013, they knew GTA was going to be big, but I don't think they knew it was going to be that big. I think $30K would have been a good start, but I think what they should have done is they should have then tried to request for residuals, because I bet Rockstar probably.
They did get that though, because they came back for future GTA Online DLCs.
I was gonna say, because Franklin's in a decent amount of the new DLCs. So, but no, voice actors, because the thing is, everybody just goes, well, I could voice act. Okay, then fucking do it, moron. Literally, the problem is voice acting isn't just, it's not to the scale that regular acting is, but that's why actors get paid millions of dollars or whatever, even though they get way overpaid. But voice acting is a super hard skill to learn. Like, to do it, and plus making those connections, making everything possible. Voice acting, considering that people always complain about, well, voice actors just need to do a half decent job. But the problem is, okay, if you want a half decent job, play your game on mute, play a single player game that has a lot of dialogue on mute, and see how happy you are about that game, because it's gonna be dog shit. Even when voice acting is terrible too, that's even worse. People fucking bitch about the voice acting didn't match up to the lips. The voice acting was so
no,
bland.
it depends on the game for the whole mute.
God of War is a great example for needing great voice acting.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, another two. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Considering
Horizon was fucking great, dude.
the thing about the Horizon games is similar to Resident Evil Village. The games were not produced in English, but then had to be translated perfectly because that was going to be one of their biggest audiences. So, funny enough, the nice thing about Japanese and English is if you make the same lip movements, you can kind of semi get away with it looking like somebody's actually speaking. That's why in Resident Evil, because Resident Evil, they're designed like they're speaking the fun fact, the game's designed to be played in Japanese. That game is 1,000% better in Japanese and is designed to be played in Japanese. That's why sometimes the lips just seem like they're off, but you can't quite figure out what it is. That's what. It's the same thing with anime voice acting, where sometimes the lips will just not be right, but you don't know what it is. But that's why.
Well,
because
Village number 7 or 8?
8. Village is number 8.
Yeah.
Number 7 was also designed in Japan, but I believe that was Capcom US that did that one more, I believe. So
I don't know, dude. I don't really.
But I know Resident Evil 8
kind of stuff.
Resident Evil 8 they wanted to do this whole new big story thing. So they hired this team from Japan and the team did a phenomenal job on the game.
Dude, hate me, but Resident Evil 7 and 8 are better than the rest.
I would say to a degree, yes.
Depends.
If you're talking about Resident Evil 4, no.
The 4 used to be a good one, yeah.
Well, with this new remake of Resident Evil 4 too, supposedly the remake is really good. Me and Raven watched the reveal trailer for that.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, and I must say that I think definitely Resident Evil 7 and 8 are definitely two of the greatest Resident Evils. They're definitely
prequels, by the way.
Yeah, I would definitely say they're great. They're probably top 3, honestly, for me. I think it probably goes. It's probably like Resident Evil 4, Village, and then.
They're literally prequels, though. Yeah. Well, they're trying to show you how the virus came to be. The T virus. It came from the mold.
That makes sense. But have you guys ever played Total War Warhammer?
Yes.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I have the first game. I am so low IQ, I can't beat it on easy.
You're fucking with me, right, Raven?
No. Go to my Steam history, Raven Bones. Okay, I have over 100 hours. I haven't beat the campaign yet. I even followed Delrith, who was a streamer for Angry Joe. He played it on legendary difficulty. I copied the same moves as him. Okay, and we had the same encounters. Okay, but he's on legendary. I'm on fucking easy, and I did the battles, the troops, and everything the same way he did, and I continued to fucking lose and get my ass handed to me.
You have to change the setup on easy, because what the AI is going to do is they're pretty much going to bum rush you. So if you
well, see, I didn't know that. I kept having rebellions and my chick. I don't know what the fuck to do, but I love the games. I actually own all 3, even though I can't beat a single fucking one of them.
So I have a shit ton of the Total War games. My favorites are definitely 3 Kingdoms, Warhammer 2, Warhammer 3. Yeah, it's Warhammer 2 is so much better than Warhammer 1. The mechanics just feel so much cleaner, and
I want 3 Kingdoms. I love that fucking time period, and I love the 3 empires. Yeah. The 3 Kingdoms. Yeah, because I grew up on Dynasty Warriors. That shit was bomb.
Oh, that's an old one. Fuck, there are so many old games that you can talk about nowadays.
Oh man, dude, trust me. I could go on a tangent about why Super Mario 64 is still the greatest game of all time, but
well, it makes me laugh that earlier when you said I'm one of those old COD players, and I'm like, dude, once you mentioned Black Ops 2, I was like, you ain't done it till you had Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer online.
What's funny is I was
an old COD player.
No, here's the thing though with that. Is funny enough, I was actually playing those games when I was 5 years old. I played Modern Warfare 2, trust me. I was dog shit at it because I was only 5. But I physically remember the 2 games I played, the only 2 games I have memories of in 2009, because I'm not really a multiplayer guy. I'm still not. I'm an old COD player, but I'm only old to World at War. World at War is zombies. I'm a zombies player. That was my biggest thing. I only love the zombies mode. The multiplayers are okay. I've always
Black Ops, the original Black Ops has the best zombies.
see.
You can't change my mind.
Technically, yes. However, after you look past the nostalgia and you realize that Black Ops 3 has every single map that BO1 has except for Call of the Dead, you realize that Black Ops 3 is a superior game. But I'm not going to get into that with you because that's a whole can of worms.
Dude,
Everybody has
being
their
a
own opinion.
real old Call of Duty player is being me who played Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 on the PlayStation 2.
No, that's just
Get
called
on
being
my
fucking
level.
old. That's just called being
Okay,
an
no,
old
and I
fucking
even
loser.
played that
Dude.
online.
You're being an
PlayStation
old
2
fucking
online was the
loser,
best.
dude. That shit is
PlayStation
so
2
fucking
online
boomerish,
was
dude.
the
Oh
best.
my lord.
No,
That game
that's
came out.
called
I was
being
1 years
skilled.
old when that game came out, dude.
Exactly. Get on my level.
Dude,
I
Okay?
remember the old Legend of Zelda games on the Game Boy, dog. Like, come on.
Oh, fuck you.
Be
I have
real
Sonic
here.
the Hedgehog 2 on my Sega Genesis.
That shit was actually pretty fucking good, though.
Sonic the Hedgehog
Back
2
in
on
the
a Sega
days-
Genesis with Shaq Fu and a bunch of other games was amazing.
Dude,
Back in the day, Sonic was actually pretty good, and it's disgusting how bad it's gotten.
No, Naps. No. Listen to this.
Sonic
Okay.
Heroes was dope though.
No, here's the thing, Naps. You go
I haven't
back and
played
play
Sonic
those.
Heroes.
Go back and play. I guarantee to you, Sonic, the OG Sonic is all nostalgia. The old Sonics are kind of dog shit. You go back and play them now, and
Excuse me, motherfucker.
No. You go back and play them now, and they're not what you remember. I'm
Than
telling you.
the newer ones. I've done it before.
Yeah,
Because I remember.
they are fun
God,
to speak.
what was
Shadow
it?
the Hedgehog was also a great game. I remember when it caused so much controversy for
The
being a rated
guns.
R game.
Oh my god.
And that the trailer literally implies that Shadow shoots fucking Sonic in the back and
Dude,
kills him.
that's the greatest part about it. Shadow is
Shadow's
the
supposed to be
goat.
like that. He's supposed to be
Oh, I'm Shadow.
the edgy. I'm a fucking.
Dude, when they started, when Sonic, when those 3D Sonics started implementing humans and shit, bro, that shit was just so goofy.
Dude, Super Shadow was amazing.
D Sonic was so dumb. Remember the whole controversy? Remember when the Sonic movie was actually coming out,
Oh,
and when the first look at what Sonic looked
Yeah.
like, and how much people bitched about that, dog.
dude. Oh,
Dude, I
oh, no,
Dude,
that's bad.
I forgot to tell you that when that trailer launched, I actually was like not only half asleep, but I was halfway down probably a good sized bottle of vodka, and I woke up the next day thinking that was all a fucking dream. Until I saw it actually, and I was all like, dude, who the hell thought this was a good idea?
Oh man,
They actually hired a guy off of Twitter to fix it.
I believe it. God, you can find almost anything on the internet nowadays.
Yeah, there was a guy who actually went through and edited the trailer professionally and showed them, look, this is how Sonic can be for your movie. Contact me to discuss hiring. I'd be welcome to help you. And they actually reached out to him and was all like, okay, yeah, we'll hire you. Let's go. And they took the time to delay the movie by like 5 or 6 months. And he got credited for helping them fix the entire movie.
Look at this.
I see that.
No, look at the next one.
Oh, what the fuck
That's
is
from
that?
that's from the Chip and Dale movie, bro. They didn't fix him for the Chip and Dale movie, so he looks so fucking stupid.
Oh my God.
Oh man, he looks
Oh,
bad.
you know what he kind of reminds me of? Do you remember that creepy ass old television show, Teletubbies?
Oh my God,
the
yeah.
Teletubbies are so
Yeah.
tall. Dude, the Teletubbies' height is like 8 foot.
Funny thing is, the purple Teletubby was actually gay.
Nice.
And we need to know this why?
It's funny because if you've you've seen it before, right? And some of the shit they had in it, how was it a kid's show? Like I remember seeing.
Oh,
Remember those birthday party blowers where you blow in them and they uncurl and make the weird
Yeah.
sound and shit? Well, they had one where it kept going and going and it tickled another one's ass. Like, how is that a fucking
the
kid show?
Teletubbies were 10 feet tall, by the way.
They
Oh,
always gave me the fucking creeps,
dude,
dude.
that fucking show. 90s TV shows for kids was rough.
Teletubbies is actually a dumbed down version of The Hobbit. Or The Lord of the Rings. 4 Teletubbies and a big shining, all-seeing sun eye looking thing. Yeah, okay.
Everything's the fucking Hobbit, dude. Every story is the
Uh.
Hobbit. 25 minutes into any movie, the character always goes on the adventure or the story really begins. No, dude. Fucking back in the day, though, I remember I was only like 4 years old, and I think World at War had just dropped, and I was playing Super Mario 64 and World at War, and those were the only two things I would do because I was doing like weird homeschooling preschool bullshit until I turned into like first grade-ish. But so I would just be at home doing nothing, and I remember I played so much Mario. My Wii was so busted. And since I was a 4-year-old, I'd never turned my shit off, so my fucking Wii, like my Wii would have like Super Mario 64 on it, and I don't think I ever turned it off for like months. It had to have been months. But
Speaking of doing something like that, I actually melted a disc into one of my Wii's. Where the disc
I did that. I did that when I was like 7. I did that too when I was 7 with it was Wipeout for the Wii, bro. I got it melted into my fucking Wii, and I had to go to
it wouldn't
GameStop.
come out no matter what.
I went to-
and
I
it
was
still worked.
No, I was 7. I was only like 7 years old, and I had no idea how to fix it. So I went to my aunt, and we went to GameStop, and the guy at GameStop was taking a butter knife trying to pull the game out, but he couldn't get it out, and I didn't know what to do, and I started to cry because I was so sad. Oh man. And then
Oh, there was another one with the Nintendo 64. I don't know what the hell happened. Like the whole thing itself just burned up for a second. There was
64? No,
yeah, there
no.
was a flash.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know
Do it.
why it burned? Because the fucking 64-bit processing is running on an 8 megabyte chip. Like that's how much it can run on. And so that 8 megabytes of data, even from the launch, so like Super Mario 64 would basically use the entire RAM of that 8 megabytes. Okay, and what would happen is the cartridges would have to run most of it, and the cartridges would get so hot they would start to melt after like 24 to 48 hours if you left it on. So, for example, in places that lag a lot in Super Mario 64 on the N64, where Rainbow Ride lags like a bitch if you look at the entire map, and if you sit that there for like 24 hours, your cartridge will be fucking burning. Like it will start to melt.
Well, it's kind of funny because we had the original Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and we
Ooh.
could not save it. So we
Oh.
had to
Your
leave
save
that
was corrupted?
on. No, like no matter what, it didn't matter if we had like an extra memory thing we plugged
Oh.
into the panels. Nothing.
Memory cards, dude. Oh, rip. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
literally, we could not get it to save. Period.
Back in
So
the
we
day.
would have to leave it on, or we would do this thing where we would try and speed run and get as far as we can with Legend of Zelda. Back before speedrunning was a thing.
Dude, the N64 had so many problems, and dude, Nintendo was so ahead of their time. Nintendo used to be so ahead of their time, but they were still boomers. They refused to use CDs because they were scared that people were gonna pirate the games. Like that is such a boomer way to think. Even with the GameCube, they were like, nope, the disc is gonna be half the size.
I heard into Diablo quite a lot.
But no, like
Diablo 2.
So Nintendo had something called virtual game theory. I did an entire I did an entire like semester of class on old networking basics, and Nintendo has like an entire 2 week long thing. They had this entire N64 network that they were gonna set up in Japan, where you could have this in the front of the N64, you can insert these little slot things, and they were gonna have a network card that would connect every N64 together and would create one super network of N64s, and then you could download and buy games on the N64 online, like in early like PlayStation Store or Steam, like super early, like we're talking 1996, and you could do this all on the N64. And they had the entire thing done, but they realized what would happen if they tried to do this is the older consoles would freak the fuck out, and then it would cost so much to run the servers that Nintendo would have been bankrupt in like 2 years. So they didn't do it. Also, they had no idea how to do it overseas. They could only do it in Japan, and they could only do it in Tokyo because it was the only place that it would make sense, because they couldn't get it to work anywhere else. If they wanted to implement it into the US, and the US basically got fucked. They were like, this is too much. It's too big. They basically founded the idea of like the PlayStation Store, or the like Nintendo eShop, basically. Which is funny, because could you imagine in 1997 buying and downloading a game online? That'd be fucking weird.
No, because dial-up was way too
Dude.
slow.
Yeah, I know, dude.
I
You,
remember-
no. But the games would have it would have been about the same download time. It would have been about the same download time
No.
as downloading a game nowadays, because Mario 64, if you wanted to buy and download it, is only like 11 megabytes. Which, even if it was only like not even half a megabyte per second, you're still, or not, it wouldn't even have been that much. You could have probably downloaded a 12 megabyte game in about 2 hours. Like,
I'm not shitting you, dude. I don't remember what it was I was downloading, but it ended up taking 4 days.
what? What the fuck? When was this? 2006? What? 2005?
It was way back then, dude. I was like
You were
5
downloading
years old
fucking
at the time,
some
so that was
Newgrounds
more than
porn or
20
something.
years at least.
Dude, I didn't realize how old Newgrounds was. Newgrounds is fucking old. Oh my god. Newgrounds is like, God, isn't it like 23 years old? And that shit's still up and
think
running. 1995, dude.
I think it's one of the oldest. Like you remember Game Fudge and all those game
Dude.
sites, Congregate, shit like that.
Dude, this was a little before my time. My time would have been the like 2010 generation, because that was when I got into the internet. So the 2010 would have been cool math games, like Flash games, in the early 2010s.
I remember playing cool math games because they blocked all the other games.
The fucking school, dude. The school computers used to fucking block them, and then I would get on cool math games and I'd play Run for like hours. That game
I
Run
went to
was
school when literally, if you had your phone out at all or any other electronic, they would instantly take it.
See, Raven is such an old man. He didn't even go to school when they had phones. No, he did, but not. That would have been like really late for him, right? That would have been.
So my
Dude,
first
they were
phone,
flip phones, Razor
Yeah.
flip phones. I remember when Razor flip phones was,
Razor
oh my
flip
god,
phones!
you could get internet on your flip phone now? Oh my god.
I remember that.
Raven, when did you graduate high
people
school?
don't believe, dude, and then people still
2010?
don't believe 2013, and people
okay.
still don't believe that iPods and MP3 players were a thing.
I had an iPod. My parents would never let me have a phone. I had to have an iPod my entire life. I remember when my parents made the hardest decision of their entire life to upgrade my iPod to an iPod Touch. I was so happy, I cried and screamed when I opened up the box for Christmas and I got a 4th gen iPod Touch that literally was so doggy, but it was great. I felt like I had my own phone, dude. I would be like, I'd be on YouTube on my phone or on my iPod. I'd be like, no way, what, dude?
So
I never had one.
Literally, the only reason my parents ever let me have a phone, and they still say it to this day, is because my asthma attacks would start randomly. So if I ever had to call them, they had me like an emergency speed dial on the flip phone where I could just press enter and it'd call them straight away.
Dude.
That was the only reason they ever gave me a
Dude,
phone when I was that young.
iPhones are wicked scary now, dude. iPhones, on an iPhone, even if it's completely out of service, is like completely out of, like, you're not paying for the service on the phone anymore and it's a dummy's phone, you can still call 911. So it's basically like having, because it will just be an unknown, untraceable number. I mean, they could probably trace the iPhone if you were on it long enough, but you can basically payphone the police again. You can basically take an old iPhone that's like doesn't have cell service anymore and just call 911. As long as
they'll track it through the radio waves and the chip, wouldn't they?
See, but here's the thing: is I wonder though, because if it was serious, probably, but I feel like I feel like if the iPhone's old enough, I don't know if they would. Like if you had like an iPhone 4 or something and you called 911, I don't know if you would.
iPhone 4s and that don't have that option, do they?
I'm pretty sure they all
I have
do.
an iPhone 1.
No, I thought it was the iPhone
No,
7s and up that they added that option
No,
to.
I thought it was all iPhones. I thought they're all capable of doing that.
No, I thought it was only iPhone 7 and up that made it so that you can call 911 without service.
Maybe. Hold on. I guess I could look. I could totally. I mean, even still, I
don't know. They changed so much shit
now,
with
here's
iPhones.
the thing. Since we're talking about phones, I would like to get something off my chest. I had friends who were pissed at me for never texting them back. And the whole reason why is because back then when we only had flip phones, I did not feel like pressing the same number 3 to 2 different times just to get one damn letter. So they were all like, dude, I said, what's up? How you doing and stuff? And I was like, yeah, I can't be bothered. I don't want to press
You
this
used to
fucking...
use the old ABC type. I remember
Yeah.
when I had my flip phone, I either had the one where I slid the screen up and I could have that little keyboard, or
Yeah.
it was the one where I pushed the numbers, but it
we're
would
both wrong.
automatically transfer to a new word. What?
We're
What
both
is it?
wrong. So it actually was with the iPhone 8. It was iOS 11. The iPhone 7 supports iOS. No,
I told you it was somewhere around there.
The iPhone 7 supports iOS 11, but it doesn't have the feature built into it. The iPhone 8 and every phone onward has the feature to call any not just 911, any emergency service. And now the new iPhone can call the suicide hotline, which is 811 or whatever, as well. So any emergency service it can call without cell service.
Oh, God, playing League today made me want to call the fucking
811.
Holy fuck! It was.
I'm pretty sure. I swear, 811 was the number that you would call to see if there was like pipelines under your house to make sure that you weren't fucking like gonna drill into a fucking water pipe or something.
Well, like, have you ever been so depressed playing a video game? You're just like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Why am I here?
It's
Why am I
988. Sorry,
What's the point of this,
811. 811 is still that. It's the digger's hotline. 811 is the hotline where you call to make sure that you can excavate something.
Yes. Are you calling to excavate something? Yeah. I want to know where I can dig my grave and not do shit.
I'm gonna excavate your mom's ass.
Yeah. Can I get a license for that? Because that's a big zone.
Oh shit. All right.
It's basically 1:15. Do you guys want to call it, or you guys got anything else?
I actually have something.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it. Go for it. I'm ready.
Okay, since this is about video games, okay, I want to talk about something because I've been wanting to get this off my chest for a while. Okay, all right.
Okay.
I hate how outrage, mob mentality can ruin good things. Okay.
Oh.
And not to shit on anybody because people are probably gonna find this podcast years from now when we're famous and yell at me for this. But Total Biscuit is a fucking asshole. Okay. He deserved to die because of what he did to a family. All right. Now, there was a game called Middle Earth: Shadow of War, right? I'm pretty sure we've all heard.
Oh,
Okay,
I loved that game.
there was the developer who made the Nemesis system. Okay, he died of cancer, brain cancer. And Warner Brothers wanted to help out his family by having him be a character in the game that could save you at a random moment from death, randomly. You would pay $5 for it. What would happen is all the money from that profit would go to the family. Now, what happened is everybody started getting upset, like Total Biscuit with his cancer ass, started getting upset at saying that Warner Brothers was making profit and off of a guy's death because not all the money was going to the family. That's not true. What was happening is not all $5 could go to the family because, as we know from Steam, 25% of it had to go to Steam. But the
Yeah,
other
the
75,
transaction thing.
yeah, the other 75% would go to the family. But here's the problem with it. It had to go through Warner Brother first before it could go to the family. So at the time, Warner Brothers was actually committing a fraud, and that was because you buying a DLC isn't you consenting to charity, which caused a problem. So everybody got all this upfit stuff saying that Warner Brothers was making, tons of money off of someone's death. And in the end, what they did was they made him part of the game permanently, and then they decided just to donate $200,000 to the family. Do you know what that did to the family? They could have gotten millions of dollars off of people buying that DLC, but because people like Total Biscuit and Outrage emotional bullshitters have to fucking make a problem out of something that wasn't an issue, Warner Brothers had to legally not do it anymore.
Yeah, mob
That's
mentality
fucking
is
sad.
it's ridiculous.
Fuck you, Total Biscuit.
It makes no sense how.
Yeah.
I feel like people nowadays just don't have their own opinions anymore. It's pathetic. It's bad.
And then not to mention the article, I know that adding these war chests and some of the ability to buy orcs rather than brand them yourself was a form of loot boxing in the game. But I hated the most dishonest articles that said that, oh, in order to get the true ending after you do the story, you needed to play the game for 50 hours. What game were you playing? I beat that game all the way up until its true ending, okay, which was the Shadow Wars. I beat the Shadow Wars in literally only 4 hours. And what do you mean 50 hours? I know how to play the game. Do you? I never bought one orc. I never opened up one chest. I never even redeemed the free mithril coins that came with my pre-order. I beat the game in the same amount of time as the first one plus the DLCs.
See,
I feel like
but
you're more
that-
of a reflex gamer than a strategic gamer.
And see, the thing is though, the problem with reviewers of video games is I feel like they're not necessarily the best people for every game.
Well, also internet and the whole social media shit nowadays just blows things out of proportion. People don't try to dig in and try to find the real
Because-
information of what's going on.
I know this is
No, not okay.
No.
So, like,
so no, they're trying to lock the dog in here for a little bit. But no, the thing I was trying to say is I know this sounds really goofy, but the new PGA Tour game came out, right? And the reviewer was like, "This game is so." He goes, "It's just so bland. There's nothing to it. It's just like even though they tried to implement a whole new swing system, I was watching him play, and this guy was missing on every single swing system, and was literally just going, "It is so difficult to do the swing system." I literally was watching another person play it, and he was hitting all the 3 points of the swing system, and he was like, "Yeah, this is great. I love this." See, it's just stuff like that. Like a reviewer can't do something, so they instead of going objectively, they start getting subjective about it because they get angry, and then all of a sudden their opinion changes, but their opinion is now factual because they're a game reviewer, which is weird. I don't like that. I think it's bullshit.
when they can't even beat the tutorial for Cuphead, I'm kind of questioning
I
their
know,
fucking
right?
ethics. Dude, have you guys seen that 27-minute video of that IGN journalist playing Doom Eternal? That shit was hilarious.
Dude, have you watched the game devs react to the speed run of Doom Eternal?
Yeah,
Oh,
I have.
Dude, that fucking video. He's like, "What is he doing? What is he doing?"
Well, it's literally a speedrunner's job to try and like break the game to make it as fast as possible too.
Yeah, the speedrunner's job is to just destroy the game. That's why people don't like the devs don't like. Come on, gosh, my dog is being a
I, I
dick.
I don't see the issue with speedrunners though. I feel like it would bring like good publicity to your game, you know?
It usually
I'd
does
hire
actually,
speedrunners for my game development.
because they'll find the most bugs.
And exactly. And if they find that bug, you can either figure out whether to get rid of it or if it's a really specific bug you need to do for speedrunning and that's it, then there's no real big issue and you don't have to worry about it, you know?
Yeah,
That's
like
just
leave stuff in for the community.
And it's just because I think I remember seeing one game where they removed one speedrun bug and literally it added 6 hours to that speedrun to the point where nobody else would speedrun that game anymore.
Yeah, that's the problem they did with Doom Eternal. They fixed everything that was speedrunnable, so now the game's just impossible to speedrun.
And it's just like,
But that's the problem with new video games is the reason why everybody goes, well, why are the old video games so, everybody speedruns in, but not the new ones? Well, because the moment somebody starts speedrunning a new game, developers go, we gotta fix that. We gotta get rid of that. It's fucking dumb.
it actually kind of reminds me of, so there's this content creator, a YouTuber who does shit for Total War Warhammer. He'll show you how to cheese a lot of different fights and stuff like that. And
Can you give me the link so I can beat the game?
he mainly does stuff for Warhammer 2 and 3, so unless you have those, I don't know. He would do these cheesy strats where he would have his army sit back and just completely shit on an army with either magic or just a bunch of artillery, because it would be like a walled settlement and they could just sit back and shoot them and towers wouldn't be able to get them and shit like that. And he's like, any fun cheesy strats that you can think of, they keep trying to get rid of with patches because I show them to you guys. So he ends up just messing with how the game's AI mechanics works now, so that he can cheese it that way instead of using actual game cheesing stat
Eventually, at
breaks.
some
You know?
point, it just becomes a war between him and the devs, and then it comes to the point where he just starts breaking the game so badly they can't even fix it. They fucking give up. That's the only
Well,
way to keep speedrunning alive. Is you just gotta break the game so badly that just the devs don't even know where to start to fix it.
oh God.
That was a big thing for Doom Eternal. Actually, you could still speedrun a decent amount of Doom Eternal, but you have to do it on certain different modes because they got rid of some of the like mods, the modded guns that you would use. But like they never did fix the there's this thing for Doom Eternal where if you're moving downward, I don't remember exactly how it works, but if you're moving downward, the game thinks you're going like the bits are going like they start going erratic and they start switching 1 to 0 really quickly and you just fly really high up in the air and they can't fix it because the way if they try every single time they said they've tried to fix the movement bug, they would have to rework the entire movement of the game and then it just isn't Doom anymore. They literally said they can't do anything about it. So the main speedrun thing still exists. They started patching like out of bounds areas. Actually, I think for one of the Doom Eternal DLCs, they even added a little skybox texture when you pass a skybox. I think it's just like it just I don't remember I don't it might have not been Doom Eternal, never mind. But there was a game where they added outside the skybox texture. If you ever can get out of the world, the skybox texture outside of it literally just says like fuck you or something like that. It was just like it's just like a really big letters. But people used to do that with zombies too in COD. They used to try and cheese like the to getting to high rounds really quickly because the old games um they didn't have a bit limit, so you could get to an infinite round, but the game after 72 hours of the game being like concurrently played, it would restart the round. And in the old COD World at War, after like round 1,000, you get these things called insta kill rounds, where the zombies' health for some reason just goes back to like level 1 zombie rounds, and they're all one knives, and it's great.
Huh.
It's yeah. There's some really cheesy shit, and they still haven't patched that. They didn't know how to patch that either. Something with the bit system. The only way they patched it was in BO3. They just made it so you couldn't get past round 255, because past round 255, everything just goes fucking wacky. Shit like there's mods that allow you to go past it, and zombies will just stop spawning in, and the rounds will never end. And then even if you end those rounds, eventually the zombies will start turning invisible. There's a bunch of problems on the DLC maps, like there's spiders on the second DLC map, and the spiders after round 255 just don't show up. The spider round will just be there for infinite. Like they just don't ever respond. It's fucking stupid. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Well, do we got anything else? If not, I think I'm gonna go so this dog will stop being a little growler. Not growler.
Yeah,
kick
I'm gonna
it.
go take a goddamn nap. I'm so tired.
I
Yeah.
gotta go to bed for work. I gotta be
Yeah.
up in 5 hours.
As
Yeah,
always,
well, I
guys. Oh,
Gotta
go
take
ahead.
a nap and do some more coding. So
Coding. He's a coder.
I just do it as a hobby, trying to make my own little game mechanic thing. You know?
Sell it to Epic Games. All right.
No, fuck Epic Games.
Okay, and with that, I think we're gonna end it. So thank you guys for watching. This podcast ended up being exactly as long as I thought it was gonna be. Great. Thanks, Naps, for coming on and talking with us. That was really
Oh
fun.
yeah, I've had a good old time.
Yeah. And thank you guys once again for all the scheduling problems that happened today. I really appreciate you guys being able to do this late. It was the only time we could get it working, and we really wanted to do it, so it ended up working out perfectly, though, I think.
Well, life's a bitch. Then you marry one, then you die. That's what I've always been told.
All right, yeah. There you go. So with that, I think we're gonna end. Thank you guys. See you guys next week, episode 7. I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but I think me and Raven have some ideas. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.
Later.